to Dakman Productions Podcast, and yes, I am back. I decided to bring back doing podcasts, and also, as many of you may have noticed or not noticed, I uploaded or re-uploaded all my older podcast videos. I had originally took them down about a couple months ago, maybe even longer. Part of the reason for taking the podcast videos down was back in December, us YouTube creators were going through some horrible times on YouTube, especially with the COPPA law that was going to be reinforced or enforced that YouTube wasn't following, and they were saying we could face possible huge amounts of fines, $10,000 per video that doesn't meet the COPPA criteria, and YouTube wasn't backing up any of the creators. So it was a tough time for us, and it panicked a lot of creators into taking down videos or even closing up their channels. And until I figured out what was going on, I took some videos down as well, and then marked everything else that was made for kids. So unfortunately, it was an unsure time for us, and we made decisions based on what we thought, because there was no clear cut. There was no clear-cut policy. It was all just gray area and generalized, and so nobody understood what really was going on, what the rules were. So all we knew is we were going to get fined $10,000 per video. So that doesn't meet COPPA regulations. So that's what happened there. Plus, the podcast videos, I don't know. I was doing them, and maybe some people were entertained by them, but when you watch your own video, you're like, wow, it looks like I'm pretty horrible, whatever. I looked at my own podcast videos, and then I relate them to being, I felt as though I acted more like Bill Stein of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And for those of you who have never watched that movie, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, there was a kid named Ferris Bueller, and he's in class with this boring teacher that nobody wants to get stuck with, and he was played by Bill Stein, and he's one of them teachers that talk in a monotone voice just like this. This is our exercise for today, and then the kids fall asleep in class. So, and then this Bill Stein guy, I guess he talks like that in real life, and so Ferris Bueller decides to ditch the class, and the teacher's like trying to call his name, and obviously he's not there, the seat's empty, but he calls the kid's name over and over again. Bueller, Bueller, Bueller. And he's not answering because he's not there, but he continues to call his name out even though the seat's empty. So it's a funny video, or movie that is. But at any rate, so I kind of saw myself like that in my podcast videos, sort of like boring, I guess. And it's hard for me to interact with a podcast video because it's just me, and I interact better when I'm around other people. So maybe in the future I could do podcasts with guests instead of just myself. But this podcast is just to let you guys know that I'm back. The Dakman Podcasts are back. The older podcast videos, by the time this video is uploaded, will be uploaded as well. So all the past podcast videos are uploaded. And I find these podcast videos now important because people still ask me certain questions that these podcast videos have the answers for if they watched them, or if they were still on my channel. People could actually watch these podcast videos and get the answers they're looking for. So, what does Dakman Productions stand for? What's Conahay Rail? What does Conahay Rail run? What kind of track do you use? A lot of these questions are answered in those videos, and I think I was up to 8 podcast videos before I decided to ditch the whole idea. But I'll still do them, maybe not as often as I was doing them. Some channels do a podcast, 2 or 3 times a month, but I don't find myself a podcast type of personality. But that's just me. I try to do these podcasts, without, doing cuts and breaks and stuff. So I try to make it as raw as possible. In my previous podcast movies, I always say my podcasts are not monetized, and there's ads running. I changed all that. For the little bit of money that you do make on YouTube, the pennies on a dollar that you do make, it's not much. I decided when I re-uploaded them, they all will be monetized and they will all have ads running on. Sorry, but I have to try and make a little bit of money to offset my costs somehow with the software, the video camcorder, the battery, and everything else that I use when I go out shooting videos for training shows. And speaking of training shows, people were asking me, when will I get back to doing training shows? Well, when the state of New Jersey decides to open up the state after the coronavirus thing. So when they decide to open up, I'll get back out there shooting training show videos. Don't worry. As different states decide to back open to the public, and they allow these events to happen, I'll be there to bring you these videos back. In the meantime, what has Dakman Productions been doing? Well, I've been trying to do different things based on the fans of Dakman Productions have suggested. I've done comparison videos. You'll see them comparing, like a cylinder hopper, for instance. So we'll take a MTH, Atlas O, and a Lionel cylinder hopper, and we'll compare them with each manufacturer, the good, the bad, what I like, and what I'm looking for, and my own opinion. And then, of course, I show the different details and the differences between all 3 of them. And I'll tell you which one is my favorite, but obviously I like all 3 of them because I own them. So I'm not just all MTH, and I'm not just all Lionel, and I'm not just all Atlas O when it comes to rolling stock. I have all 3 of them. As far as K-line, I don't have any of that. Very little of that is actually scale, but I never got into the K-line, even though some of it is better than Lionel when it comes to some of the semi-scale stuff. But I don't run semi-scale on Conahay Rail. I run all true scale O-gauge. Weaver, I had Weaver on Conahay Rail at one time. Weaver is all scale, but honestly, I didn't care for the trucks on Weaver. Yeah, I could have converted them over to MTH, Lionel, whatever have you, but still, I just wasn't impressed with the Weaver details and stuff. It just didn't do anything for me. So little Weaver I did have, I sold off, and I don't own anymore Weaver products, except for maybe a couple of display pieces that I didn't want to get rid of and nobody else made. So so I don't have any Weaver as well. So yeah, I just have the 3 brands: Atlas O, MTH Premier, and Lionel Standard O on Conahay Rail. I do have a Lionel MPC layout. That's all Lionel MPC era stuff only. Nothing else is in the mix. So I just wanted to explain, what happened with my podcast, why I took them away, and now I'm bringing them back, because people are asking me questions that the podcast videos will answer. So this will be the first podcast video I've done in a long time. So as you see this podcast video will be up after all the older ones are uploaded. So just remember, all the previous podcast videos are all older versions. So what has Dakman Productions been up to? Well, like I said, bringing you guys the comparison videos. I've been having people who want me to do how-to videos, and I shot one that I will upload in another week or so on how to swap out trucks on an MTH piece of rolling stock with a ETD truck, which is the truck that has the flashing red light on the end of it. So I show you guys how to take the body apart and take the truck off and put the truck on and body back together and all that fun stuff. For those who haven't done one before, that's I realize there's always a beginner who's just starting, and that's what a lot of people forget in the hobby. You know, sometimes it upsets me a little bit. You see a guy who's been in it for 10 years or 20 years, whatever have you, and he forgets how it was to start out and begin, and somebody asks a question, and no question, in my mind, no question is a dumb question. Because you're always going to have somebody who just gets in the hobby in the beginning. But then you have that 20-year veteran guy who's been in it for 20 years and he's saying, you know, he makes a smart comment or whatever have you, and that's not the way to go, and that's not the way to be. So you always have to remember there will always be somebody new coming into the hobby, so always be respectful is my advice to everybody. Let's just get along, and if it's a repetitive question, so what? You know, just forget it. Don't be nasty or rude. Just answer the person's question, even though it was just asked maybe a month ago by someone else or whatever have you. There's always going to be somebody coming into the hobby. Show them courtesy and respect, and it goes a long way, because you want people to get into this hobby. You don't want to drive them away with rude remarks and stuff like that. Always welcome somebody. The same question 10 times over, I don't care. Ask it. I'll answer it again and again. It's fine by me. And so that's pretty much what Dakman Productions has been up to. Now also, Dakman Productions has also acquired a Facebook group called the O-Gauge Operators and Collectors Facebook group. So look us up. Dakman Productions does own that now. For the last year, I have been running it. I appointed a couple of moderators, good people, and run a tight-knit group. I make it three things: family, fun, and friendly are the three things that I try to run that group with. And I've been doing O-Gauge O-Gauge photo contests there every month. I run that contest. O-Gauge magazine has even come aboard, and they will give $50 to the winner as long as they submit an article and a photo to them. So it's that group has really turned around, and it's doing positive things, and it's starting to grow like it should. So I'm happy that I was able to take it over, turn around, and give a positive spin on that group. So once again, if you want to look it up on Facebook, it's the O-Gauge Operators and Collectors Facebook group on Facebook. So it's a great place, and like I said, I make sure I run it with three things: family oriented, fun, and friendly. And whoever's not friendly gets the boot. So I have a no tolerance policy for rude remarks and stuff like that. That's just the way I run it. And so it's a great place to be, my opinion. I also, Dakman Productions also owns the Atlas 2 and 3 rail group on Facebook. If you like Atlas O products, you can look them up. So excited about that Dakman Productions is growing to the point where there's 2 Facebook groups now that are owned by Dakman Productions. Plus, I'm personally involved in a couple other groups as a moderator as well. Dakman Productions also has teamed up with Rail Fanning Adventures, for those who may not know. Rail Fanning Adventures is a brand new YouTube channel, and also a brand new rail fanning group to Facebook, and they're growing pretty rapid. And the owner of that group also has the same policies. He wants to make it family and friendly and fun. So to keep all the drama and the politics off the groups. So Dakman Productions has teamed up with Rail Fanning Adventures, and what the primary role of Dakman Productions is for Rail Fanning Adventures is to edit and produce the videos that are shot raw. So what happens is the Rail Fanning Adventures crew goes out to location, they shoot all the raw footage. Once the SD card is full, then Rail Fanning Adventures brings it to Dakman Productions. Then Dakman Productions will edit and put in the intros and put it up on YouTube for Rail Fanning Adventures. So that's something, that is a service that Dakman Productions does offer. If you would like to submit a video, your own video that you would like to see on Dakman Productions of your layout or your outdoor G-scale layout, whatever train you have, even if it's the real train, S-scale, HO gauge, I don't care. Whatever gauge you have, as long as it's shot in HD and it's a smooth video, I can put the Dakman intro on it, and if you want your name as credit, I can put your name in there as well. And I've done that for people in the past. And so Dakman Productions does have several videos on the YouTube channel that were actually videos done by other people, and the credit is given to them. And it's just featured on the Dakman Productions channel. So that's another thing that Dakman offers. And I got a phone call today from a fan, and he suggested that I do DVDs, and I was up in the air about that. I thought about that, but I said, with the YouTube, why would anybody buy a DVD? And he had mentioned that not everybody has a smart TV, and not everybody has streaming devices, or not even everybody can get internet access. And I never even thought about those possibilities. I figured that, hey, everybody in the world's got a smart TV and can stream, so who needs a DVD? And he says absolutely not. There's places where you can't get internet, and if you can, it's very slow. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So we talked back and forth, and he was pretty much interested in having me create DVDs. So I am going to experiment with that and see how easy it is. I do have a DVD burning software program. I got a DVD burner, so I'm going to see how fast and quick it is. And if it's something that's pretty easy to do, then okay, I can do that. I can create DVDs of certain movies that were available on YouTube that you guys can only see on your phone, but you don't have access to see it on your TV. And I never realized that some people can only see these videos on their phone or iPod, but they can't see them on TV, until he mentioned that not everybody can have streaming devices or good internet to stream it to a TV. So that makes sense. So this video will be not made for kids, going back to that COPPA thing. So you can put your comments in there. If you'd like to see DVDs from Dakman Productions, put it in the comments down below. And speaking of COPPA, going back to that sort of subject, from this point forward, I have a better understanding about COPPA now, and now I know how to judge a video, whether it should be made for kids or not made for kids. I actually went through YouTube Studio Academy and actually took courses on YouTube. So they have an academy, actually an online academy for certain courses that YouTube creators can take, and they actually give you a certificate. And if you pass certain courses, YouTube allows the creator to actually approve their own ads. So that was sort of exciting, that if you pass these certain courses, YouTube actually gives the creator the ability to set their own ads in a video. And as you correctly set ads in a video, they give you more and more freedom to do so, to set your own advertising in YouTube, and set up your own the way your video is for the audience. So I passed the courses that were required, and now I can actually set on, for Dakman Productions, I can actually set up my own ads, and if it's made for kids, and what specific audience. So I can actually do all those settings. I can actually set all that up on my own, and I don't need YouTube to approve it or oversee it, as long as I do it correctly. So you do it enough times, and it gives you more and more leeway. So I'm excited about that. That now I have the ability to set up my own channel without YouTube having to check over my shoulder. I'm sure they'll still do it, but just not that often. What else? As far as the COPPA, going back to the COPPA thing, so what's going to happen now that I pass these courses and I have a better understanding about COPPA and what YouTube expects, and now I have the abilities to do my own settings in the videos, I can tell you guys that from this point forward, all of my train show videos, all the videos that come from training shows such as Edison, Greenberg, that are coming from, no matter where I'm at, the world's greatest hobby, will still be marked as made for kids, because I don't want to not include kids in watching these, because they are the future of our future generation to get into this hobby. So I don't want to exclude kids in those videos. So unfortunately, on the other hand, when I make those videos as made for kids, the comments will be disabled. So you will not be able to comment on any of my train show official videos per se. But podcast videos such as this one, the videos that are made for comparing or how-to videos, will all be open to comments and will not be made for kids. And so you'll be able to comment on them. And to give you a little bit more information, what does the COPPA consider a kid? A kid is somebody or a person who is under the age of 14. So somebody under the age of 14 wouldn't need to know how to disassemble a locomotive. That's something you wouldn't want a 14-year-old doing. So that's the way I'm planning on doing my videos, as far as how I'm going to rate them and in the future. So any train show videos will still be made for kids. Anything from a train show. Even Conahay Rails, when I do videos off of Conahay Rail, I'm still going to make them as made for kids. You will not be able to comment on those, but my podcast videos, my how-to videos, and my comparison videos, and my review videos will all be open to comments, and they will not be made for kids. So I wanted to explain that part as well. So yeah, there's a lot that's been going on since the last podcast that I made, which was 2019, I believe before Christmas, maybe even before that. But when all this COPPA stuff hit, and we were all worried, all of us creators and stuff. And so I'm looking forward in the future to other things. And one other subject I want to bring up is I'm sure people are asking, what happened to the Dakman Productions shirt production? Well, that was a total disaster. I ended up using a service called Printify, and I'm sure there's people who will stick up with them or for them, but they ended up being one of the worst services I ever used. There was a ton of problems with Printify. They kept rejecting they would reject my print art, and then once I did get it all approved and stuff, and then they would have that art, and then when the sale of the shirts would have to renew over again, then they would have to then they rejected the art all over again. I had to fight with them. Hey, you already approved this, and now you're rejecting the art once again. And this is art that's already been used by my other service, which is VisitaPrint. And by far, VisitaPrint does a way better job, in my own opinion. And they have an actual online program where you can actually enhance the image right there, and you don't have to worry about, as long as it's made within a certain pixels to begin with, or they have an online enhancer that enhances the image if it's a little off. So, and then not only did I have to go through the battles of the art not meeting their criteria, but then when the shirt sales that they made on eBay, which is what I used, they would have the shirts there in limited quantities. So it's like if there was a couple shirts in large, and once those two sold out, they wouldn't renew it. And then people were asking, we're trying to get these shirts, but it's showing zero quantity. I'm like, why? Why is this impossible? The quantity should be unlimited, but it wasn't. And I tried getting a hold of the Printify team, and it was like, it was just a disaster. You're talking to like 3 or 4 different people, and they're not just a very good support staff. And I see there's other people who use them who are happy with them and never had an issue. That's fine, but myself, I'm done with that end of it. So if I'm going to sell shirts, I'll have them printed up through my own service, and I'll sell them on my own through my own store. Maybe that'll happen in the future, because right now I don't have the funds to go out and buy 10 of this shirt, 10 of that shirt, 10 of this size shirt, and have them just on hand for people to buy. So not at least right now, anyway. So maybe I'll restart that in the future, way in the future after this Corona thing is done. But unless you guys can put in the comments about the another recommended service, but I'm not using Printify anymore. I'm not happy with them. So like I said, I'll just have them printed up by my own service and sell them, or find another printing service local who will print them up and ship them out for me. But so we'll end that subject right there and move on to a different subject, because it's a little sore subject for me. So what is the future of Dakman Productions? Well, I'm just waiting for the lockdown to end in New Jersey, because I'm sure the state of New Jersey will be one of the last states to release the lockdown. I'm not going to make it about politics, so I'll keep away from that. And so just waiting for that to happen. And then once the lockdown does end, the train shows in New Jersey really don't start back up until August anyway. So I'll be bringing you more stuff with Conahay Rail. We'll be, and once the lockdown ends, I'll invite guests to run their locomotives here on Conahay Rail and pull some freight cars. And for those of you who are interested, just remember, I cannot run any MTH Premier stuff on my layout. I can only run TMCC, or Legacy. And there's TMCC in Atlas L, and there's TMCC in some of the K-line locomotives. So, and it's not set up really for conventional. It's set up for controls only. I do own a conventional layout, but that's a smaller layout. So I got that in mind. So I know I went through a lot of things, but we had a lot of catching up to do. And I appreciate all the fans that I have that support me, that call me up, that give me comments, that talk to me in person. I really appreciate, and it really drives me to keep going, to do these things and bring you these events and show you this stuff. And model trains in general. I mean, I love it all. It doesn't matter if it's O gauge, S scale, HO, the real thing, standard gauge trains. I don't care. Whatever you got's fine with me. We'll play with it. and I like the big stuff too. You know, once in a while, you know, I'll get the urge to go rail fanning. It's not something that I would do every day, but I have done it, and I do enjoy seeing the real stuff from time to time. But I get more enjoyment out of playing with the model trains than I do with seeing the real thing. And I can't wait to see you guys back out there at the train shows. I miss everybody. I certainly do. I miss the clubs. I miss the people. I miss the general public. I miss everybody. This shutdown sucks. I won't lie. And so I'm looking forward to seeing all you again, and whatever that may be. But we'll stay in touch with these podcasts, and I'm on Facebook. Dakman Productions has its own Facebook page. Look me up there. I'd love to hear from you guys. All right, this has been another Dakman Productions podcast. We'll be doing more in the future, and see you guys later. Bye.